Welcome to Daily Global Motivation, the space where personal growth stops being about chasing success endlessly and starts becoming about transforming into the kind of person success naturally gravitates toward. Today's message is not about shortcuts, luck, or external validation, but about becoming the person whose mindset, habits, discipline, and presence quietly align with opportunity, growth, and achievement wherever they go. Many people spend their lives chasing success as if it exists outside of them, believing that one breakthrough, one connection, or one moment will change everything, while ignoring the truth that success is attracted to who you are, not just what you want. This message is for those who are tired of forcing outcomes and ready to build an identity so strong, so disciplined, and so grounded that success becomes a byproduct rather than a pursuit. Personal growth is the invisible magnet that pulls success into your life when your character, actions, and mindsets are aligned. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share this message with someone who knows they are meant for more and is ready to become the person that more naturally arrives for. Becoming the person who attracts success begins with understanding that success responds to identity far more than intention. Because desire alone is common, but disciplined character is rare. Many people want success intensely, but few are willing to reshape their daily behavior, mindset, and standards to match the level of responsibility success requires. Success is drawn to consistency, clarity, emotional stability, and self-leadership, not desperation, impatience, or external comparison. When your identity aligns with growth, success recognizes that alignment and responds accordingly. Identity shapes behavior, behavior builds reputation, reputation creates opportunity, opportunity attracts success, and this chain begins internally, long before results are visible externally. Most people try to attract success by chasing outcomes, but highly successful individuals focus instead on becoming grounded, disciplined, and dependable, because success thrives in environments of reliability and self-mastery. When you become someone who keeps commitments, manages emotions, learns continuously, and adapts without collapsing under pressure, you send a signal that you can handle more responsibility, more opportunity, and more growth. This signal is subtle, but powerful, because the world responds to patterns of behavior, not promises. Reliability builds trust. Trust opens doors. Open doors create momentum. Momentum accelerates success, and success that arrives this way is sustainable rather than overwhelming. Becoming a success-attracting person also requires releasing the need for immediate validation, because desperation repels opportunity while confidence rooted in self-respect draws it closer. When you no longer need approval to move forward, your actions become cleaner, more focused, and more intentional. This clarity strengthens your presence, because you are no longer scattered by comparison or insecurity. Presence commands respect. Respect invites opportunity. Opportunity multiplies growth. Growth reinforces identity. Over time, success becomes less about being noticed and more about being trusted, relied upon, and chosen naturally. Another critical shift is understanding that success is attracted to people who can regulate themselves under uncertainty, because chaos repels stability and opportunity gravitates toward calm, composed leadership. When you can remain focused during pressure, disciplined during boredom, and patient during uncertainty, you demonstrate a maturity that success recognizes instantly. Emotional regulation strengthens judgment. Strong judgment improves decision-making. Better decisions reduce mistakes. Reduced mistakes increase consistency. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum is one of the strongest signals that success is near. Ultimately, becoming the person who attracts success is about transforming your inner world so thoroughly that your outer world has no choice but to respond. You stop chasing outcomes and start embodying qualities that make success feel safe arriving in your life. When your identity reflects discipline, clarity, patience, and growth, success stops being something you pursue aggressively and becomes something that meets you naturally along your path. And once this foundation is set, everything else begins to align. Becoming the person who attracts success requires embracing daily discipline not as punishment or restriction, but as a quiet declaration of self-respect that signals to the world you are capable of consistency, reliability, and long-term thinking. Success is not impressed by bursts of motivation or emotional promises, because those fade quickly under pressure, but it responds strongly to individuals who show up every day regardless of mood, recognition, or immediate reward. Daily discipline builds internal order, and internal order creates external clarity that others can sense even before you speak. This clarity influences how opportunities find you, because people trust those who demonstrate steadiness more than those who speak loudly about ambition. Steadiness builds credibility. Credibility creates trust. Trust opens access. Access multiplies opportunity. An opportunity is where success begins to take shape. Highly successful individuals understand that discipline is the bridge between intention and identity, because what you repeatedly do becomes who you are, and who you are determines what you attract. When you discipline your time, your focus, your energy, and your habits, you stop leaking. potential and start consolidating power. This consolidation changes your presence because you move with purpose rather than urgency, with direction rather than confusion. Purpose sharpens focus. Focus improves execution. Execution builds results. Results reinforce belief. Belief strengthens identity. Over time, success responds to this alignment not because you demand it, but because you have become someone capable of sustaining it. Daily discipline also creates emotional stability, which is one of the most attractive qualities to success, because opportunities tend to amplify whatever internal state already exists. If your inner world is chaotic, success magnifies stress, pressure, and imbalance. But if your inner world is disciplined and grounded, success amplifies confidence, clarity, and control. This is why disciplined people often receive more opportunities, not because they are lucky, but because others sense that they can handle growth without collapsing. Emotional stability improves judgment. Strong judgment reduces costly mistakes. Fewer mistakes build momentum. Momentum accelerates progress, and progress attracts more opportunity naturally. Another powerful effect of daily discipline is that it removes the need for constant motivation, because motivation fluctuates while structure remains dependable. When your actions are guided by routine rather than emotion, you continue progressing even on days when excitement is absent. This reliability makes growth predictable, and predictability is attractive to success because it signals sustainability rather than volatility. Sustainable effort compounds. Compounding effort creates mastery. Mastery builds value. Value draws opportunity. Opportunity rewards preparation. And preparation is always the result of discipline practiced quietly over time. Ultimately, daily discipline is the language success understands most clearly, because it communicates readiness without words and capability without performance. When discipline becomes part of your identity, success no longer feels distant or intimidating, because you have prepared yourself internally to receive it responsibly. You stop chasing results and start building the foundation that allows results to arrive naturally. And when discipline leads your life daily, success follows not as a surprise, but as a logical outcome of who you have chosen to become. Becoming the person who attracts success requires understanding that mindset is not just a way of thinking, but an energetic filter through which you interpret reality, make decisions, and respond to challenges. And this filter determines the frequency at which you operate daily. Highly successful people are not immune to doubt, fear, or uncertainty, but they have trained their minds to process these experiences differently, refusing to let temporary emotions dictate permanent behavior. This mental discipline creates a sense of inner stability that others can feel, because people are naturally drawn to those who remain grounded and composed regardless of circumstance. Stability signals readiness. Readiness attracts opportunity. Opportunity amplifies growth. Growth reinforces confidence, and confidence strengthens the mindset that attracted success in the first place. A success-attracting mindset is rooted in responsibility rather than blame, because blaming external factors may provide temporary relief but permanently blocks growth. When you take responsibility for how you think, react, and choose, you reclaim power that would otherwise be surrendered to circumstance. This power sharpens awareness, allowing you to recognize patterns, adjust behavior, and learn quickly from experience rather than repeating the same mistakes. Learning accelerates improvement. Improvement strengthens capability. Capability builds confidence. Confidence influences perception, and perception shapes the opportunities you notice and act upon. Highly successful individuals also cultivate a mindset of patience, because impatience creates desperation, and desperation repels the very outcomes it seeks. When you trust the process of growth and remain committed without demanding immediate results, your actions become calmer, cleaner, and more intentional. This patience allows you to make decisions based on alignment rather than urgency, preventing shortcuts that undermine long-term success. Alignment reduces friction. Reduced friction preserves energy. Preserved energy improves consistency. Consistency compounds progress, and compounded progress is what quietly attracts success over time. Another defining aspect of a success-attracting mindset is adaptability, because rigid thinking collapses under change while flexible thinking evolves with it. Highly successful people are willing to update beliefs, revise strategies, and let go of outdated identities without ego-driven resistance. This adaptability allows them to remain effective in changing environments rather than clinging to familiar comfort zones. Adaptability strengthens resilience. Resilience stabilizes effort. Stable effort builds momentum. Momentum creates visibility. Visibility draws opportunity, and opportunity expands success naturally. Ultimately, mindset determines not only how far you go, but what comes toward you, because your thoughts shape your actions. Your actions shape your reputation, and your reputation shapes the level of success that seeks you out. When your mindset is disciplined, patient, responsible, and adaptable, you operate at a frequency that success recognizes instantly. You no longer chase outcomes blindly, because you have become someone whose internal world is aligned with growth, And when that alignment is present, success does not need to be forced. It arrives as a response to who you are becoming. Becoming the person who attracts success requires raising your daily standards quietly and consistently, because success does not respond to what you say you want, but to what you repeatedly tolerate, accept, and reinforce through your everyday behavior. Highly successful people are deeply aware that standards are invisible boundaries that shape identity, determining how they speak to themselves, how they manage time, how they respond to setbacks, and how much effort they give when no one is watching. These standards are not announced publicly, but they are lived privately, and over time they send a clear signal to the world about what level of opportunity, responsibility, and growth you are prepared to handle. High standards create discipline. Discipline sharpens focus. Focus improves execution. Execution builds credibility. And credibility is one of the strongest magnets for success. They understand that lowering standards for comfort today creates consequences tomorrow, which is why they refuse to negotiate with excuses that feel reasonable in the moment but destructive over time. When fatigue appears, they do not abandon their standards, they adjust their approach while preserving integrity. This flexibility allows consistency without burnout, because the standard is not perfection, but alignment. Alignment reduces internal conflict. Reduced conflict conserves energy. Conserved energy sustains effort. Sustained effort compounds growth. Over time, this quiet refusal to lower standards becomes a defining characteristic that sets them apart from those who remain stuck in cycles of motivation and collapse. Highly successful people also hold themselves to emotional standards, choosing not to indulge in prolonged negativity, victimhood, or self-pity, because they understand that emotional habits shape mental clarity and decision-making quality. They feel emotions fully, but they do not live inside them, recognizing that unchecked emotional patterns silently lower performance and distort judgment. Emotional discipline strengthens perspective. Strong perspective improves choices. Better choices reduce regret. Reduced regret increases confidence. Confidence reinforces higher standards. And higher standards attract opportunities that require maturity and self-leadership. Another critical aspect of daily standards is how time and attention are treated, because success is attracted to those who respect their own focus enough to protect it intentionally. Highly successful individuals do not allow their days to be consumed by low-value distractions, unnecessary drama, or constant reaction, because they understand that attention is the currency of growth. Protecting attention reinforces priority. Clear priority simplifies decisions. Simplified decisions reduce fatigue. Reduced fatigue strengthens discipline. Discipline maintains standards. And maintained standards signal readiness for greater responsibility and opportunity. Ultimately, your daily standards determine the level of success you attract, because they define who you are when motivation fades and pressure rises. When your standards reflect self-respect, patience, and intentional effort, success feels safe arriving in your life, because you have demonstrated the capacity to sustain it. You stop chasing success through force and begin attracting it through consistency, integrity, and alignment. And when standards become non-negotiable, success becomes a natural response to the person you have chosen to become. Becoming the person who attracts success requires a fundamental shift away from asking what you can get and toward focusing on what you can consistently give, because success is naturally drawn to individuals who create value long before they receive recognition, reward, or validation. Highly successful people understand that value creation is the foundation upon which opportunity is built, and they commit daily to improving their skills, sharpening their thinking, and contributing meaningfully in whatever environment they are placed in. This commitment to value changes how they move through the world, because they no longer chase attention, they earn trust, and trust opens doors that ambition alone never could. Value builds credibility. Credibility strengthens reputation. Reputation attracts opportunity. Opportunity invites success, and this entire chain begins with daily effort that is often unseen and unrewarded at first. They focus on becoming useful rather than impressive, because usefulness compounds faster and lasts longer than surface-level recognition. Instead of performing for approval, they invest in mastery, reliability, and problem-solving, knowing that people remember those who consistently make things better, easier, or more effective. This mindset removes desperation from action, because the goal is no longer to be noticed immediately, but to be needed eventually. Need creates relevance. Relevance sustains demand. Sustained demand attracts opportunity. Opportunity multiplies impact, and impact is one of the clearest signals that success is near. Highly successful people also understand that value is not created accidentally, but intentionally through learning, practice, and reflection, which is why they commit daily to growth even when it feels repetitive or uncomfortable. They read, study, refine skills, and seek feedback not to prove worth, but to increase competence. Competence builds confidence. Confidence improves execution. Better execution increases results. Results reinforce belief. Belief strengthens identity. Over time, this identity as a value creator becomes magnetic because others sense reliability, depth, and capability without needing to be convinced. Another powerful reason value attracts success is that value-oriented people focus outward rather than inward, reducing self-absorption and emotional volatility that often derail growth. When your attention is placed on contribution, problems feel more manageable, setbacks feel instructional, and ego-driven distractions lose their power. Contribution grounds purpose. Purpose stabilizes effort. Stable effort preserves momentum. Momentum builds visibility. Visibility attracts opportunity. And opportunity responds most strongly to those who are prepared to serve at a higher level. Ultimately, becoming someone who creates value before seeking reward transforms success from something you chase into something that seeks you out, because the world consistently rewards those who solve problems, elevate others, and add depth wherever they go. When your daily actions are guided by contribution rather than entitlement, success feels aligned, sustainable, and deserved. You stop asking when success will arrive and start becoming the reason it does. Becoming the person who attracts success requires developing the ability to handle pressure without collapsing emotionally, compromising values, or abandoning discipline. Because success naturally brings responsibility, expectation, and complexity that amplify whatever internal patterns already exist. Highly successful people are not immune to stress, uncertainty, or high stakes, but they have trained themselves to remain grounded when pressure rises, understanding that composure under strain is one of the strongest signals of readiness for greater opportunity. When pressure appears, they slow down mentally instead of speeding up emotionally, allowing clarity to guide their decisions rather than fear or impulse. Calm strengthens judgment. Strong judgment improves choices. Better choices reduce mistakes. Reduced mistakes preserve momentum. And momentum is what allows success to continue expanding rather than collapsing under its own weight. They understand that pressure is not an enemy to avoid, but a teacher that reveals where discipline, boundaries, and self-awareness still need strengthening. Instead of resenting pressure, they use it as feedback, noticing which habits break down, which emotions surface, and which standards are tested when demands increase. This awareness allows them to refine systems rather than react emotionally, ensuring that growth continues even in uncomfortable moments. Reflection stabilizes emotion. Stabilized emotion preserves focus. Focus supports intentional action. Intentional action reinforces confidence. Confidence attracts trust, and trust is a key currency of success. Highly successful people also regulate their internal dialogue during pressure, because the stories you tell yourself in difficult moments determine whether stress sharpens you or shatters you. They replace catastrophic thinking with grounded perspective, reminding themselves that pressure is temporary, challenges are solvable, and growth often requires discomfort. This internal regulation prevents panic-driven decisions that undermine long-term goals. Emotional regulation reduces volatility. Reduced volatility improves consistency. Consistency sustains progress. Progress builds credibility. Credibility draws opportunity. Over time, this ability to remain centered under pressure becomes part of their reputation, making others confident, placing greater responsibility in their hands. Another critical element is that they do not sacrifice their core values or identity to meet external demands, because success gained at the cost of self-respect eventually becomes hollow and unsustainable. When pressure pushes them to compromise, they choose alignment over approval, knowing that integrity protects long-term growth even when short-term rewards are tempting. Integrity strengthens trust. Trust deepens relationships. Strong relationships expand opportunity. Opportunity multiplies success. And success built on integrity lasts longer and feels more fulfilling. Ultimately, learning to handle pressure without losing yourself transforms you into someone success feels safe attaching itself to, because you demonstrate that growth will not distort your character or destabilize your life. When you remain disciplined, grounded, and self-aware under stress, you send a clear signal that you can hold more without breaking. And when you become someone who can carry pressure with composure and clarity, success does not hesitate to meet you at that level. Becoming the person who attracts success ultimately comes down to making a lifelong commitment to becoming rather than endlessly chasing, because chasing implies lack, urgency, and external dependence, while becoming implies growth, alignment, and internal authority. Highly successful people reach a point where they stop obsessing over outcomes and start focusing on refinement, knowing that when they continue evolving their character, discipline, skills, and mindset, success naturally adjusts to meet their level. This commitment removes anxiety from the process because their sense of worth is no longer tied to immediate results, but to the integrity of their daily actions. Integrity stabilizes confidence. Confidence strengthens patience. Patience preserves consistency. Consistency compounds growth. And compounded growth quietly reshapes destiny over time. They understand that becoming is never finished, because growth expands as responsibility expands, and success requires continuous recalibration rather than static achievement. Instead of believing they have arrived, They stay curious, humble, and open to learning, recognizing that stagnation begins the moment growth feels optional. This humility keeps their ego flexible, allowing them to receive feedback without defensiveness and adapt without losing direction. Adaptability preserves relevance. Relevance sustains opportunity. Opportunity expands influence. Influence amplifies impact. And impact reinforces the purpose that first set the journey in motion. Highly successful people also accept that the path of becoming includes solitude, delayed gratification, misunderstood decisions, and periods where progress feels invisible, yet they remain committed because they understand that alignment matters more than applause. They are willing to walk alone for a while if it means staying true to their standards, values, and long-term vision. This willingness strengthens self-trust. Self-trust deepens resilience. Resilience stabilizes effort. Effort compounds mastery. Mastery attracts respect. And respect opens doors that force never could. Another defining quality is that they stop measuring success by comparison and start measuring it by congruence, asking whether their actions match who they say they are becoming. When congruence is present, inner conflict dissolves, and energy previously wasted on doubt and indecision becomes available for creation and leadership. Congruence strengthens clarity. Clarity sharpens focus. Focus improves execution. Execution builds credibility. Credibility attracts success without needing to announce ambition. Over time, this internal alignment becomes their greatest advantage. Ultimately, becoming the person who attracts success means living in a way where growth is non-negotiable. Discipline is self-respect, mindset is cultivated daily, and identity leads behavior instead of emotion. Success stops being something you wait for and becomes something that naturally responds to who you are, how you move, and what you consistently embody. You no longer ask when success will arrive, because you understand that every disciplined choice you make is already calling it closer. And when you fully commit to becoming, success does not chase you or test you. It meets you exactly where you are ready to receive it. If this message resonated with you and reminded you that success is attracted, not chased, then make sure you subscribe to Daily Global Motivation, because this channel exists to help you build the mindset, discipline, and identity required for long-term growth and fulfillment. Like this video if it inspired you. Comment below with one quality you are committing to embody more deeply, starting today, and share this with someone who is ready to stop chasing outcomes and start becoming the person those outcomes naturally find. Remember, success is not a destination you reach one day. It is a response to who you choose to become every single day. And the moment you commit to that path fully is the moment everything begins to change.